Hey everybody, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green. This is my grow tent in my apartment where I have my orchid collection. And let's have a look around and see what's going on this week. Today is the 27th of September 2020. This interesting little cat Leia is a Cattleya walkeriana species from Brazil. Gift from Stephen Van Camp and Lewis. It's got 2 new growths on it, and these bloom in the late autumn and winter. So what I am really looking for is after this growth is complete, at the base of the growth, if we're lucky, we'll see some swelling, and then we'll see a new growth come out with some flower buds on it. Very, very excited to see that. If you haven't watched, Stephen and I made a video yesterday on late season Catacetum care, and I showed off these 3 plants. This is my Desert Davison, Mormodia Jumbo World in the middle there, and then Cycnodes Wine Delight. And Wine Delight's got 2 spikes on it. You can kind of see them there. But the thing is, it looks like the one on the right is heading out. It looks like it's growing towards the window. And then this one looks like it's growing more towards the lights, towards us. And I really don't want them going 2 different directions, so I might try to maybe put something behind it so that it blocks the light, so that that other one will turn around and try to grow towards the light. I don't know, it might be too late. I would like them both to go in the same direction. The other 2 plants don't seem to be showing any signs of blooming anytime soon, but hopefully that will change. The Mormodia Jumbo World, definitely, it's a winter bloomer, and I'm not worried about it right now. It still needs to drop all of its leaves before it thinks about blooming. This gorgeous Carulia form of Cattleya maxima has been in bloom for a few weeks now, and it is so nice. I saw little bugs crawling around in the roots recently, and so I dunked the entire pot into a neem oil solution, and that looks like it may have taken care of them. This plant's got a couple new growths, and I'm just really happy with it. Just got this plant in February or March of last year, or this year actually, and have been really, really happy with the blooms. Had to get in here early today. The plants look much better in natural light than they do underneath the grow lights, but this is Hal, Bulbophyllum echinolabium. I had Hal's spikes all kind of tied in here, but then I just kind of let them go since they were in the grow tent now, and it's cool to see the way that they develop, and as they get bigger, they kind of weigh down the spike, and then they open up, and then it pops back up. So it's really nice. I'd like to see some growth on Hal, but I'm not sure. The bulbs do look kind of wrinkly. Maybe he needs more water. I just wanted to make sure that things weren't staying too wet in here. Right in front of Hal you have Bobofilum medusai, and it's got spikes all over the place, but they're kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in here and show you. Alright, I think this is the best I can do. You can see there's one little spike right there, but there's also, you can see one down here poking up against the wall of the pot. But there's several. A lot of the new growths have got spikes on them. That's great, and hopefully we'll see this guy bloom out maybe December. Paph Prime Child has got a really nice spike coming out very quickly now. It's actually started to kind of separate itself, and you can see the buds will be visible very soon, I think. Last time this bloomed, it put out 2 flowers So I don't know if it's going to put out more than that. The most it's ever put out is 3. But the exciting thing is that there's actually 2 growths maturing at the same time. And so I'm actually kind of watching this growth and hoping that we might actually see something push out of there too. It'd be cool to have 2 spikes on this plant. This plant got a 87-point Award of Merit in 2017. Phalaenopsis Chiliana has got beautiful speckly leaves, and those leaves have had lots of problems this year. I've had problems with some type of a bacteria or fungus that really damaged the leaves and caused 2 or 3 of them to drop off. This is a brand new leaf that actually just grew out this summer, but then it also fell victim to some kind of pathogen. I chopped it off, and it doesn't look like there's any advance in what was attacking the leaf. It does have a new leaf pushing out there, which is great news. Also lots of new roots pushing out, at least 3 I think. And then this is the most recent leaf. I've been spraying this plant with Phyton 27, which is a copper sulfide fungicide bactericide. Hopefully it is having some kind of an effect, but so far this plant it's not getting any worse, so that's great news, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to stay that way and this new leaf will grow out okay. And I showed you last week that it does have a spike pushing out, and you know, I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to I'm just going to let the plant decide. The spike might even just abort itself if the plant's too weak, but if it wants to bloom, I'm going to let it bloom. This is a nice sheath on RLC Jessie Lee. I just want to show you that there are some buds showing up in there, which is really exciting. Last time this plant bloomed was in the spring, in March. Actually, I think it was bloom over a course of several months. And it has another sheath on it, but I don't see any growth inside that sheath yet. So it's going to be exciting to see this plant bloom again. Really lovely orange flowers with a nice fragrance. Pretty much all the other Cattleyas are Cattleya rex seedlings that all came from the same seed pod. This was the very largest one that came out of the flask 6 years ago, and it bloomed last year. I pollinated it, got a seed pod out of it. That seed is now in the lab germinating, and it's really recovered from a episode of root loss. It's got lots of roots now, and the plant has really kind of just recovered well. Most of them are potted in granite, like you can see, big chunks of granite rock. But these 3 actually have been mounted on pieces of hickory bark for the entire time that they have been out of the flask. So I stuck them on these pieces of bark right after they were deflasked, and they've just established themselves very well on that bark. And these plants do really, really well mounted. I think even in a home situation, if you just had this plant in a windowsill, I grew them on the windowsills in previous places that I lived, and you have to spray them with water every day or take them to the sink, and you have to water them every day, but they really like having their roots out and exposed. But they also do like frequent water. But it's been nice watching them grow up. And there's a couple that have seed pods. This one is actually seems to be really sensitive to water on the leaves. You can see some spots there, but this one I pollinated. It's got 2 seed pods growing out, looking really nice. But then some of them are actually still quite small, little runts of the litter. I've got a bunch of seedlings back here too. This one is actually, just got this one recently, because of the votes of my viewers on YouTube and also Instagram, I was able to win a photo contest with Carter and Holmes, and I got a gift certificate, and with that gift certificate I bought this Cattleya hardiana, which is Dowiana by Varsovitzi. Should be really big, beautiful, and fragrant when it finally blooms. And I also got this Cattleya triani, which is a species from Colombia. It's their national flower, and this particular clone was awarded in 1939. Really nice pink color and beautiful form on this one too. And then the last Cattleya that I have that's not a Rex or anything that I've mentioned so far is this one. This is Cattleya Jose Marti. This is Bob Betts by Bobels. It's a white Cattleya. It blooms in the spring, and I learned actually that the name Jose Marti was a major revolutionary figure in the emancipation of Cuba from Spanish rule in the 1800s, late 1800s. And Jose Marti is, I mean, there are statues of him all over Havana. He's a huge monumental figure, and he was a poet and an author as well. And there's some many beautiful poems in Spanish written by Jose Marti. And his birthday was actually on, I actually think it was either the day he was born or the day he died, was May 19th. And that's right around the time that this plant blooms. So I think that's really cool. So if I ever finally do get it to bloom, hopefully these new growths will actually bloom in the spring. It'll be a first time bloom for this plant. But I'll read you some Spanish poetry from Jose Marti when that finally happens. And that's about all I've got to show you. I do want to show you this country girl. This is my first dendrobium. I got it at a Christmas party last year, and it seems to have done very well. It did have some mealybugs and some spider mites, but I have really been treating it regularly with neem oil and just watching it carefully. And even when I water it, I really just spray water all over the leaves and just try to knock anything off that might be on there. And it really looks nice. The bulbs have really fattened up well. The growth season for this plant is over. I stopped fertilizing at the end of August, per the instructions that I have read online. Yamamoto Dendrobiums is where this guy is from, and so they have kind of a culture guide on their website. And it's just kind of chilling out now, and then I think first of maybe in October, maybe in November, I'm not sure. Whenever the weather changes outside and starts getting chilly, I'm going to move this plant from the warm grow tent into my windowsill, and it'll still get light, but it'll be chilly, and the chill is supposed to cause this plant to bud up and start growing flowers. So that's the idea, and that's what we'll do, and hopefully we'll get some nice blooms on this. They are gorgeous fuchsia flowers. I mean, the flowers coming out of this thing, you just wouldn't believe what they look like. And it's funny, I've never had dendrobiums before, but I can see why they have got their aficionados, because they have some really, really gorgeous blooms that totally contrast with the plant. You wouldn't think that you get the flowers out of a plant like this that you do, but that's one of the reasons I love orchids, because the plants, the plants are one way, like even the slipper orchids, they're so simple. The plants themselves, there's really very basic and simple, and then the flowers are mind-blowing. It's incredible how they do that. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to share with you today. Sorry for the noise of my dishwasher in the background. I hope everything's going great for you, and wish you happy growing. And remember, the motto of the orchid grower is high hopes and zero expectations. Happy growing. We'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets. See ya.